Growing up as a boy, I was frequently going to construction sites. My dad was a general contractor. And one day that he was always on the job site was when the foundation was being poured. He wasn't there every day that every stick of lumber was being framed or every window was installed, but he was there on the day the foundation was being poured because it was the most important day. He knew it was crucial in the overall construction of that building. Well, my name is Trent Jenkins. Thanks for joining us for today's Daily Dose as we're finishing out our series on Jesus, my firm foundation. A little bit later on in life, I understood why that was so crucial for him to be there on the job site because I got to see the results in our own house, what was taking place with a poor foundation. One area of the house was beginning to settle and beginning to sink, and it was messing up the entire rest of the house. Because one corner of the house was sinking, the foundation was sinking, there were cracks going up the walls, over the ceilings, and our doors couldn't even shut anymore to our bedrooms because the door frames weren't square any longer. It's amazing what takes place when one area of the house isn't right. I think it's the same way in our own lives. If we just have one area that's off kilter, not quite right, it impacts the entire rest of our lives or the entire rest of the structure. Jesus says in John 14:6, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no one gets to the Father except through me. Now, Jesus says, I am the truth. In today's day and age, that is not culturally acceptable for one person to say that they are the truth. But Jesus firmly says, I am the truth. And truth is something that doesn't change. It doesn't waver with different seasons or centuries. A truth is a truth. Much like the laws of physics that are around us, these incredible scientists created these different laws to be able to explain how the universe works. Newton ended up creating the laws of motion and gravity. Now, I don't get to decide based off of my emotions and how I feel today how much I weigh. I weigh what I weigh because of the laws of gravity. It doesn't matter how I feel about it or what my desire would be. In the same way, God's truth is constant. It is true. It is everlasting. And if we want to build our lives on something that has a firm foundation, then we're going to base it off of the words of Jesus Christ himself. In today's day and age of different cultural norms and things always shifting based off of the latest social media post or news clipping, it seems like we could develop a new truth every single day. But when we go to God's word, which has stayed true, regardless of the centuries, regardless of what rulers have been in charge of governments, his word has remained true. So I encourage you today, regardless of what's taking place in your own life or the obstacles that might be there, don't base your emotions, don't base your life on changing culture. Base it on God's word. It will never, never leave you disappointed. It may not always feel good. It may not always feel right, but his truth will always lead you in the right direction. Thanks so much for joining us today, and we look forward to having you back next week.